Especially when Charlie leaves.
Go ahead, sir.
Morning, everybody. I'd like to call the January 7th, 2020 County Board meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioners, I'm going to ask if there is a motion or nomination for chair.
I'll make a motion to have Christine Houston as chairperson for 2020.
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations?
I make move that we close nominations, cease nominations, and cast a unanimous ballot.
Second.
Commissioner Houston.
All right. Hearing no objections, motion carries. Chris, you are the chair. I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Got the vote yet, though?
He said,
Oh.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Chris, it's yours.
Thank you, fellow commissioners. All right. Now I will be looking for a nominee for vice chairperson.
I'll make a motion to have Commissioner Mike Potter as vice chair for 2020.
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion?
I'll make a motion to close the nominations and for unanimous ballot for Commissioner Potter as vice chair.
Second.
All right. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome, Mr. Vice Chair, to our, beginning our 8th year
Do I get to
as
fly the
service.
jet now, too?
Yeah, sure. All right. We're looking at we don't need to transfer the funds back yet, do we? Do we do the minutes first? Sorry about that I should have asked that. Kind of a housekeeping issue.
Yeah, traditionally we do at the first meeting of the year, both for any unused funds in the attorney's contingency fund, sheriff contingency, incidental fund to the general revenue fund. And then there's traditionally a second motion, unused clerk hire and unused budgets for 2019.
I'll make a motion to vote to transfer back any unused funds in the county attorney's contingency fund, sheriff's contingency fund, and the incidental fund to the general revenue fund.
All right. Motion
Second.
made by Commissioner Deline, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye. I'll make a motion to vote to recall all unused clerk hire and unused budgets for 2019.
All right.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Deline and seconded by Commissioner Burrell. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I'll make a motion to set the 2020 county board sessions as listed, which is all Tuesdays except the second Tuesday of the month. The meeting shall be called to order at 9 a.m. County board workshops, second Tuesday of the month, the meetings will start at 9 a.m.
All right.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Deline, seconded by Commissioner Potter to set the 2020 county board sessions. Any more discussion?
I thought we were going to have the workshops a little later.
We had talked about 10 o'clock, based on some of the number of items we've been getting. We proposed to move it up to 9.
Can you get up that early, Charlie?
I suppose.
I mean, it's just an extra day.
It's just one more year.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's just I thought it was a rare thing when we changed it earlier, but you think it's going to be more normal to be
I
longer?
think it will be.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. It's better to set it and not have to run into the afternoon too often.
Okay.
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So we have all the advisory board listing, and to let everyone know that, you know, we do take all of our appointments very seriously. We have, I don't know, close to 70, I think, committees that one or two of us sit on, and not everyone meets every month. A few are ad hoc, but would you like to go through these, or?
Well, I'll make a motion to leave the committee appointments as is, except for the Twin Cities urbanized area boundaries, which currently I'm the member, and reappoint Commissioner Potter to that position.
I'll second that.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Delyden, seconded by Commissioner Potter, to change the appointment for the Twin Cities urbanized areas boundaries.
Can I get some point of clarification, or we can make a motion on all these advisory boards meetings. For Trailblazer, are we changing the structure of that, or are we keeping it the way I see it listed here? Commissioner Potter, are you going to take over for Kevin, or is Kevin going to remain there?
Last time, Madam Chair.
Before we go on, we should vote on the urbanized.
Well, no, but they made a motion to adopt it with the one modification, so before I can vote, I just want to make sure we have
I'm
some
sorry.
clarification.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I can't
You're all
miss
right.
that.
That's all we're,
And Madam Chair, with that in light, and I missed that, is we do have on the JPA allowing us to have a city designee, and if Kevin Castle would like to serve, I believe he'd be the best person for us to have the second person on there, and if the motion maker would be okay to amend that to include Kevin Castle, me being the alternate on the Joint Powers, Trailblazer Joint Powers Board.
I just assumed that was, you were listed as an alternate.
okay.
Let's see, it's Potter listed first, Vetch second.
Oh,
So,
5 minutes into your reign.
Madam Chair, I'm not sure if anybody mentioned this, but just a couple of items below the Twin Cities urbanized areas, that Wright County Area Transportation Advisory Council, which I believe is defunct. It no longer exists, so that could probably be stricken from the list. Unless, has there been any formation by the cities? I mean, Wright County has taken over the place of WCAT, correct?
Well, we do have the, it's Wright County, it's that advisory, it's our Transportation Advisory Committee that we
Okay.
meet quarterly.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I wanted to make sure that wasn't missing something.
All right, so the amendment is to put Kevin Castle in as the delegate for the Trailblazer Joint Powers Board, and Commissioner Potter as alternate. Are you okay with that, Commissioner Vetch?
I'm okay with that, yeah,
Okay.
yep.
and I'm okay with that.
All right,
So am I.
all right,
That's a good catch, Derek.
thank you. Motion made and seconded, and the motion makers are okay with the changes.
Yes.
And I do just have one change on page 4 or 5. It should be Veteran Steering Committee. So we add the. And for clarification for people, that's drug court. All right. Is there any other discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. I missed one thing. It was meant to bring this up, and sorry about that, but on the nuclear committee, we don't have an alternate, and we're discussing the fact that if we do have a nuclear event, to be there 24 hours without a person to break us, it would be good to have an alternate. And so that's under nuclear. It's currently myself and Commissioner Vetch. It's also, we have the Emergency Management Director and the Emergency Management Deputy Director
And also the administrator.
and the Administrator.
I don't know, is there really necessary to have an alternate for this?
The position that the commissioners have serves as a communications officer. So there was some discussion last year that perhaps a communications specialist could be the alternate. We didn't talk about this ahead of time because as I was going through this last night, it occurred to me that I remember that discussion.
Sure.
So,
And we won't have anything this year, so it'll be 2021, so.
Exactly.
So, but definitely in
Yeah.
2021, we'll want to make sure we have
so
at
we
least
don't
one alternate
necessarily
or
have
two.
to.
You
We
wouldn't have
don't
any
necessarily
drills,
have
but
to
what
make
if
the
you had a
change this
real
year.
event?
Well, if you had a real event, but yeah,
Yeah, if we do have a real event.
I guess I'm very positive thinking.
If we have a real event, this will be the least of our concerns.
It will be all hands on deck, you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. So we should wait, you want to wait till next year to change that? All right. All right, any more discussion, any other tweaks? Hearing none.
It's a fluid document. We can always make things if we.
If we need to change things.
So we've done that before, so.
Yeah, in the event of a real event, it will be all hands on deck, and the communications officer will be part of it anyway.
Yes, through. All right. All right. Hearing no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Committee have been assigned. The county board minutes from 12/17/19. Everyone had a chance to
I'll make a
them.
motion to approve the December 31st county board minutes.
Motion
I'll
made by
second it.
Commissioner Vetch,
I'll second it.
seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, the Committee of the Whole on December
No,
31st.
agenda.
Oh, boy, I'm looking at my page instead
That's
of my
all right.
things.
We're gonna get you in the swing of it.
Thank you, yes, it's been 6 years since I've been in this seat. All right. The agenda,
I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda as presented.
Second.
all right, motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove anything for further
Madam Chair, I'll
discussion?
make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right.
Second.
Commissioner Potter moves the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Timed items. We're a little behind. Mr. Bob Hevola, Auditor Treasurer.
Hey, good morning, Board. Hey, the first item on the agenda is a housekeeping thing that we do every year where we set the official newspaper. But I want to announce that Carissa had worked with Greg, and we had sent out a bid request to all the newspapers in the county, asking for a single year and a 3-year rate. So I'm going to review those bids with you, and I'm going to recommend that we adopt a 3-year contract. So of all the papers only 2 papers responded to our request for bids. That was the Herald Journal, which has been our county official newspaper for many years, and then the Delano Herald Journal. Their bids were $3.79 per inch, $3.80 per inch, and you can see the rest of it. And then the 3-year bid, only the Herald Journal had bid, and that was $1.94 per column inch. So I'm going to recommend that you adopt a 3-year contract with the Herald Journal, naming the Delano Herald Journal as our secondary newspaper.
I'll make a motion to approve the Herald Journal as our official newspaper for the next 3 years.
Second.
Made by Commissioner Delyden, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Is there any more discussion? Those are
Madam Chair.
very reasonable rates.
And then, Madam Chair, I think we'll bid out the secondary newspaper every year? Right.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam
Commissioner
Chair.
Potter.
Bob, I want to thank you and your staff for making it a 3-year, because that's kind of nice to have this. We know what it's going to be for 3 years, easier for budgeting and everything else. And plus, this is, there's only a couple of them that are going after this dollar anyway, so it's kind of nice to have that. It's kind of like labor negotiation, nice to have it for 3 years so you're not revisiting it every other month.
Seems like, yeah, thank you. Any more discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, motion carries unanimously.
So, Madam Chair, the next 2 items, I think I'm just going to have Matt walk you through. It's cancellation of some public hearings, and then schedule a hearing for removing property. So here's Matt.
All right. Welcome, Mr. Matt Detchen, our Agriculture and Drainage Inspector.
Good morning, Mrs. Chair, members of the board. Yeah, the first item is a cancellation of a public hearing on the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 16 and County Ditch 19 that I had set for February 19th at 2 p.m. The viewers are working with other counties. It sounds like they're having some additional meetings in a different county on that same day, and they asked to push it back till 6 p.m. that afternoon in order to accompany that meeting. I wasn't sure if you guys would want to have a public hearing at 6 p.m., so I can reschedule it for another day if that would work better.
Works for me.
I don't have any problem with that.
Yep.
6 p.m.?
All right,
Madam Chair, excuse me. I got to get used to that, too. Madam Chair, I'll make a motion then that we cancel the public hearing for ditch 16 and 19 that was set for the 19th and reschedule it for the 19th at 6 o'clock PM.
all right. Motion made by Commissioner Burrell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Potter to reschedule the County Ditch 16 and County Ditch 19 public hearing, February 19th at 6 PM. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, Matt.
And then the second item is, since we have that time slot already open that I knew you guys had available at 2 PM on that same day, I would like to schedule a different public hearing, and that is for the petition for removal of property on County Ditch number 10. This is an issue that our department has been dealing with. It's pretty cut and dry. It was during the viewing process, a parcel was split. A parcel that is currently 8 acres in size is getting roughly 60 acres of benefits that should be going to a different parcel that was part of the split. But when you do the split, obviously that parcel number, you create a new one, and for some reason this stayed with the original parcel number and that wasn't caught. So that's what that public hearing is for, and we received that petition
Madam
from the
Chair,
landowner.
Mr. Detchen, too, also. Are you set at the 2 o'clock? I mean, because we're going to be here at 6. I'm just wondering if maybe we moved it back to
We could push it
4.
back a little bit
4 or
later.
5 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'd say
That
4
works
o'clock.
How long do you think this will take?
I don't think very long, maybe a half hour or something like that.
So maybe we could even do 5 o'clock.
That works better for everyone. That would work for me too.
You okay with that, Mark?
Yeah, it's fine by me.
That works for me.
I'll make a motion then to set a public hearing for the petition of removing the property from the drainage system on ditch 10 to February 19th at 5 o'clock PM.
Motion made by Commissioner Burrell. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Delyden. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
All right. Moving on to Mr. Virgil Hawkins, our highway engineer.
Morning, Madam Chair and Board of Commissioners. Happy New Year,
Yeah,
everyone.
Happy New Year.
And, I have 3 items for your consideration this morning. The first one is kind of an annual housekeeping item to approve 4 MOUs with 3 cities and 1 township for purchase of salt for snow and ice control. It's with the City of Cokato, Albertville, and Waverly in Cokato Township.
I'll make a motion to approve the memo of understanding with the City of Cokato, Albertville, Waverly, and the Township of Cokato for the storage and purchase of salt for the 2019, although it's a little late, so I'm going to cross out 2019, 2020 snow and ice control season.
I'll second it, and I just have a question.
Yes.
Motion made by Commissioner Delyden, seconded by Commissioner Burrell. Is there any further discussion?
I'm sorry, just a question. How come the price is different per ton for different, like?
It's a good question, and it's based on what it costs to get it to those shops. We pay different costs, so we just pass on those costs. When we get it trucked.
I just thought you had it into me at Waverly there because you're charging the most, so.
Oh, no.
But they can get it out to Cokato Township cheaper than they can to Waverly.
Yeah, that's
interesting?
what we pay for delivery.
Isn't that interesting? I thought that was, like,
Yeah, I can't make heads or tails of
Yeah.
it either, but.
It's kind of, it is a little interesting, but
Brian, can you check into this?
any other discussion?
That's it.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. And the second item,
Okay, the next item is approval of a condemnation resolution for unsigned parcels along the right-of-way of Highway 30 in Delano for a project we plan to construct this construction season. And as great a job as our right-of-way agent Jeremy does, we don't always get people signed up when we negotiate with them, and we want to keep the project on track. So that's why we need to come before the board for this condemnation resolution. It's for 2 parcels that are unsigned.
I'll make a motion to approve the condemnation resolution of the unsigned parcels, the right-of-way of CASA 30.
I'll second it.
motion made by Commissioner Potter, seconded by Commissioner Delyden. And just as note, they'll continue to work with these property owners to
Absolutely.
come to a resolution if possible.
And the way it usually typically does work out, that we end up usually negotiating a settlement with them, but this is just a procedural thing, so we don't delay the projects later on.
Yep,
It's unfortunate, sometimes it goes that way.
you're right.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Potter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Virgil, is this the lost project? in
Yes.
Delano? Okay, this is part of what's going on, so this timing is critical on this.
And then it will be a separate resolution for County Road 13 then? Is that the way we're gonna do it?
The next one is CASA 39 in Otsego.
Yep,
Okay,
all right.
all right. So we list a resolution on this?
Yep, any more discussion? If not, it's a resolution. Commissioner Potter?
Aye.
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 Aye. Resolution passes.
Thank you.
All right.
The next item is similar. This is on Highway 39 in Otsego. And there's 22 parcels there. There's 6 that are unsigned currently, but it's the same thing. We request a condemnation resolution for the unsigned parcels on Highway 39.
I'll make a motion to proceed with the resolution for Highway County Road 39.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Delyden, seconded by Commissioner Vetch. Any more discussion or any discussion? Hearing none?
Not on this. I have to clarify something else. Go
Clerk.
ahead.
Commissioner Potter, or Burrow, would you like to?
Aye.
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 And then, Virgil, County Road 30 goes way up by Otsego too?
No.
No, this is
Two separate
39. There's
resolutions.
two separate resolutions.
But then, wait, okay,
Is there
so
a typo?
the acquisition of highway right-of-way for County State Aid 30 between 13 and 3rd Street near Otsego. And that, I'm like,
Yeah, I was kind of
Oh.
messed up the way they have it written in there.
Okay.
They're
so
copying and pasting.
Yeah, the board action request has it's not on the resolution though, is it?
No, the resolution is correct.
Okay,
Yeah, that
all
was
right,
an
then we're
error.
good.
Good catch.
so it's 30's down in my area.
It's Delano.
Okay, all right.
I'm to see if you guys read this or not.
I was-
Good job.
It's just a little curve so. Okay.
All right.
Didn't you know that they annexed a
Commissioner
little bit of
Potter,
land
did you
down in
have-
Delano, Otsego did? Just a couple parcels, just so they could do
Pay
that.
attention.
You didn't have a comment? Okay. All right. All right, well, thank you. All right, items for consideration. We have our minutes from,
New Year's Eve.
yeah, Committee of the Whole on December 31st. And Commissioner Vetch, would you take those, please?
All right, so on New Year's Eve, last week, we met as a committee of the whole with members of the administration and IT staff to talk over strategic planning. We discussed some of our things that we'd like to talk about in strategic planning is defining the growth in the county and what type of growth we'd like to see occur, such as industrial growth and infrastructure in terms of fiber and transportation infrastructure. Through this discussion, we kind of talked about different methodologies of how we could go about this. It was brought to our attention that Infotech, who IT works with, has a complimentary with our membership strategic planning seminar that we can utilize with them, and they will be coming out at a date to be determined. I think there's a potential date that's out there yet, but we haven't solidified that yet, to sit down with the county board. We've also, in this planning process, asked that we include our cities and townships in the strategic planning as well. So we'll be reaching out to them. So the discussion then is to go forward with putting together a strategic planning session with Infotech over a 2-3 day period of time and reaching out to cities and townships for their participation. And that was delegated to admin to work through that. That is the minutes and the recommendations from December 31st, 2019.
All
I'll
right.
second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, and all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Advisory Committee, Advisory Board date. Mr. Kelly, would you like to start? You probably have more than any of us.
Well, certainly the turn of the year has been a little bit slower in weeks than typical, and feels like this week it's winding up again. Maybe just to jump off the last item we talked about, administration and IT staff did have a call with Infotech on the 3rd. Right now, we're looking at March 9th through 12th as the dates. We're fine-tuning as far as the actual hours within those dates, but the general plan is the first 2 days would be the board and probably bring in cities and townships that second day, and then 2 days with the department heads to work on refining strategy further. So that's kind of what's being discussed at this point. So if that works for your calendars, it'd be good to start getting that as we can continue to plan on the staff side.
You said March 9th through the 12th?
Correct, yes. With a room to be determined at this point. So we'll be discussing that at today's leadership meeting as well, just to get it on everybody's radar. But that's the plan to move forward at this point. Certainly other projects that are moving on and give you updates on. ERP continues again this week. Looking at assets inventory and cash management this week. So those have been good sessions. I was able to attend most of yesterday on that. And starting to work towards preparations for a meeting with legislators at the end of the month. I sent out a version of our legislative items. I hope you've had a chance to review, and we'll like to get that to our legislators in advance. So with that, I think that's what I have for updates for today.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Commissioner Leiden.
Yeah, Commissioner Vetch and I were at the Bertram Chain of Lakes Advisory Council last week on Friday, and there was a number of things discussed, but the most critical one is the turn lanes MOU with the city of Monticello to create the turn lanes that will be paying for them. And this will be going out for bids this winter. So when they're doing some campground constructions and leveling and all that sort of stuff, grading, it'll all be done at the same time. Hopefully that'll save us some money. Blacktopping, we don't know if that'll happen at that time or when they do 39. So we're going to try and figure out the best way to save the county taxpayers some money regarding this.
We did a lot of alternate bidding in the package for the campground, because if the bids come in high, we felt like there's a lot of things that we could pair the paving with the 39 project in going that route. It might be a better savings, and we also wanted the idea behind having a lot of alternate bids, because if it came in high, we could do a lot of things after the fact and not have to do prevailing wage, because anything that's included in the main project has to be done on prevailing wage because of the grant funding, so.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
the
Commissioner Parr.
beauty of this with your alternate bids and that, you get Monticello also as a municipal state aid city, they can tap into some of that funding on safety, other things. They can tap into other means to help pay for this on their part of it too, so that helps.
Well, part of the issue is this is not on a city of Monticello street. This is on a Monticello Township street.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
What do we do on 119 for St. Michael?
No?
They use MSA money for that.
Oh, okay. So the buildings and the grading and infrastructure will all be bid out this winter. Theoretically, it would be possible for the campgrounds and camper cabins to be open 2021.
May of 2021 is the,
Really?
It's a possibility, depending on how things go weather-wise and all that. Although the soil conditions out there are pretty sandy, where in Collinwood was all clay. So we shouldn't have as much issue up at Bertram as we did at Collinwood regarding that, the addition of the campers there.
Weather.
Yeah.
So it'll, looking forward to seeing it move forward. And the camper cabins, again, we've also got alternate bids on that and how we're going to do that. We've left a lot of flexibility.
Okay.
So it'll be good.
Thank you. that it?
Yep.
All right. Mr. Potter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Not much went on last week, holidays being in the middle of the week kind of break everything up there, but this Thursday at 1:30-ish, Drug Court has a graduation, which is looking forward to that. And us Thursday night, we have Township Officers meeting at Buffalo Township, their first time hosting.
Yes. And I unfortunately have to miss the turn graduation because we have union negotiations. I'm disappointed about that. But it's so positive to have the support that these people have, this intense rehabilitation, really, so they can get on with their lives and restored.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. I'll go last, so if Commissioner,
Wait,
I'm good.
Oh, am I going first?
You can go, wait, first, you were the second to last, we're in the end.
Okay.
All right, so I don't have much here. So I was with Commissioner Della and Nat Bertram, good coverage on that. The other side of it, just for a heads up, we're doing our big kickoff event here for our Central Mississippi Regional Planning Partnership for our road tour, where our Planning Next firm will be in town and we'll be going around the region here and kind of getting a feel for the space and the transportation and the infrastructure and the assets to kind of move to our next phase, which will be the community engagement part. So there'll be more to come with that. You'll be seeing a lot more information out there as we start reaching out to members of the community about this planning process.
It's too bad you can't do it with a helicopter. You get the bird's eye view of it. I mean, you can do it online with Google Earth and that sort of stuff, but still,
You definitely would get a different feel for it, I think.
I would think so. Especially with the river crossing and trying to see what's the best way to do that.
right.
The cost effectiveness, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I know, it would have been,
Yeah.
but it would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
The drone up to take
You'd
pictures.
think over time helicopters would get cheaper.
Yeah.
yeah. Do we have a drone yet that's big enough to hold somebody?
All right.
That's all I have, so.
Commissioner Burrell?
Fair Board last night, they're still planning our 150th fair and doing some extra celebrations. They're going to have a fireworks now on Saturday night, right after dark, so probably around 10 o'clock.
Oh.
So that'll be, and it's going to be pretty nice. They want to make it special. And then the other thing that maybe Administrator Kelly could do is put out word to all of the departments that regularly attend the fair. I see we have Virgil here with Highway, to see if they couldn't come up with some ideas for some special stuff for the 150th fair also. They're there already, and if they come up, put it out for some ideas for having something special for the people that are there, so.
Yeah, Virgil, do you have any of your old horse snowplows at all?
I was thinking of maybe sing and dance.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
That worked.
But it would be kind of neat to have some, like a historical thing where we were at back in the day, so it would be kind of neat, so, okay.
There was no snow plows like today's snow plows. That's for
You're
sure.
gonna do a highway department line dance, is that what it is? All staff?
But no, we have a lot of, human services there, veterans
Oh, yeah.
administration, there's a lot of county presence already, the sheriff's department and different stuff too, to maybe do something special for the 150. I would just invite them all, and maybe Administrator Kelly could put that out. I hope the board would support that idea.
I think that's a great idea, and certainly the sheriff's office must have some historical data from back then, but, yeah.
Okay.
That
That's
it?
it. That's it.
Okay. Well, we were so busy in December that we didn't really do updates about like our annual conference, and I don't know if anyone else has anything to mention about that, but I thought some real good sessions. I appreciated the opening ceremonies with, and how do you say his name? Amit. Can't find the page now. And he did the resilient option. Amit Sood. Very, very, inspirational, and talked about, ways to be resilient and wake up every morning and think of 5 things you're grateful for before you get out of bed. But I also attended a number of some good sessions. I've didn't go to the Children of Incarcerated Parents because I have been to actually 2 sessions on that already, but that's something that we need to keep working on, really, to help our children. That's the number one adverse childhood experience, is to have a parent that's incarcerated. And I went to class and comp maintenance, and they encourage taking a look at your class and comp study yearly, just to try to keep on top of things, but I've got some information about that. Also went on to a session on enhancing public outreach, and I think it'd be good for all of us to have a meeting at some point with our communication specialists and take a look at some of the things that they suggested. Also, housing and homelessness crisis in Minnesota, and there are some facts that were kind of startling. In 2019, there's unsheltered homeless in Minnesota. In Hennepin County, they have invested like $8 million in homelessness in private and public beds, and there's no women's only shelter, so they have to go in with a partner, which is kind of odd. But some of the emergency shelters that they talked about is that, it can be in a church basement or somewhere if they just have a place that they can open up. Of course, that opens up a lot of other probably legal issues and that kind of thing. But anyway, I appreciated a lot of the sessions, and anyone else had anything to add about anything they went to, or?
I know one of the sessions I sat in with Administrator Kelly on the social media and some of the pitfalls.
Who?
Administrator Kelly.
Oh, I thought you said Commissioner Kelly.
No, I said.
Must be hearing things.
I did say it right, didn't I?
I think you did.
No, it was good. I definitely think it's something that in the future we'll do some, hopefully, all staff training on terms of social media do's and don'ts and data retention, and as well as from the commissioners all the way down to the front end staff. There's things that I think we all need to be aware of that we should and shouldn't be doing. So
Yeah, there was an article in the MCIT bulletin this week about that, so it's good to pay attention to do's and don'ts. Anyway, is there anything else that come before the board?
Madam
Yep.
Chair, I did just want to have some sad news, too. A neighbor of mine, south of Montrose, who farms, took his own life on Christmas Eve day, New Year's Eve day, and has just struggled with depression, apparently. The family is not making any secrets about it. They think it's time to turn the stone over on the suicide thing, so that people can talk about it when they need help. And I had no clue of this. We just had dinner a month ago, and just absolutely no idea, and it's just so sad. There was just a huge outpouring. I mean, I'd never seen so many people at a wake. I mean, it was just awesome. So it's very sad, though. I mean, we have a depressed farm economy, but that's just not the answer. So
No, it's not, and thank you for bringing it up.
The family is really in a lot of pain over it.
Sadly, the suicide rate among farmers is quite high.
So anyway, but Jerry Salonik, south of Montrose, and we will miss him. He was just a great guy, so, okay, that's it.
For that.
Regarding that, there are things that mental health task force is dealing with on that, trying to get that information out. And if I also remember correctly, the extension office also had gotten a grant with that to try and reach out to all the farmers too.
Yep.
And then public health, I believe, also got a grant for that too. So, it's a terrible thing. So,
It is.
there is help out there.
There
Sorry
is
to
help.
end it on a sad thing, but I just
Well,
wanted
I mean-
to put that out, though, that.
It can also encourage people that don't be embarrassed.
No, I
Seek
said,
help.
so many people are in the same boat, and that's what you have to realize. And sometimes I think people think it's just me, it's just my situation, and that's not the case at all. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other business? Hearing none, we stand adjourned at 9:40.